Namaste, warm welcome to all. This is Professor K. Sheshamaheshwaramma from Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Anantapur, College of Engineering, Pulivendula, Andhra Pradesh. It is a great honor and privilege to welcome back all to this esteemed global platform, 10th International Conference on Human Values in Higher Education. As we come together for the final day of our conference, over the first 2 days, we have reflected deeply and imagined collectively. Today, we focus on translating vision into action. This session looks at policy frameworks and practical implementation pathways for empowering youth through value-driven education. Universities, policymakers, students, and social organizations all have a role to play in this journey. Our aim today is to explore collaboration, coherence, and long-term impact. With this, I invite our once again, I extend a warm, delighted welcome to our distinguished delegates from across the globe, respected panelists, eminent speakers, academicians, practitioners, and dedicated volunteers to a policy blueprint and implementation roadmap for empowering youth to address SDGs at the root, to integrate value-based education, skill development, community engagement, and inclusive governance. It enables youth to act with clarity, compassion, and responsibility, fostering sustainable solutions through long-term partnership, innovation, and collective action. I'm glad to introduce today's moderator, Dr. Jasmeer Randhawa. Jasmeer is the head Department of Science, Humanities, Government College of Engineering, Nagpur, Maharashtra. Dr. Jasmeer is a active UHV volunteer, served as an observer, co-facilitator in the online and offline FDPs and SDPs. Dr. Jasmeer, please join to moderate this session. Once again, welcome to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Sesha. Thank you for such a warm introduction. A warm welcome to all as we enter in the final day of this meaningful dialogue. Over the past 2 days, we had reflected on realities and articulated a shared vision for value-based youth empowerment. Today's session is about turning the vision into action. We focus on practical policy frameworks and implementation pathways that institutions, governments, and communities can adopt. Universities, policymakers, students, and social organizations each have a critical role to play in this journey. This conversation emphasizes collaboration, coherence, and long term impact. Together, we explore how value driven education can be institutionalized to empower youth and contribute to lasting peace and happiness. With this rigorous effort we have been taking over the last 2 days, today we have a panel of young academics, social activists, and invited students to put their perspective to understand on the topic a policy blueprint and implementation roadmap to empower youth to address SDGs at the root. Please join me to welcome today's panel members. Today we have with us Dr. Rupali Shekhawat. Good morning, Dr. Rupali.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, happy to have you. Currently, she is working as an assistant professor at Symbiosis International Dean University. She has passion towards mentoring and research drove her to join academia and now has academic and research experience of 5 years. Her areas of interest are value education, international taxation, and corporate law. The second panelist joining us today is Dr. Vidya Nagre. Good morning, Dr. Vidya.
Hello, ma'am. Warm morning to all.
Good morning. Dr. Vidya is an alumnus of Savitribai Phule University, US Consulate, and Symbiosis. She is in the field of English literature and language. She has qualification of MA, MPhil, PhD, BA, SET in Maharashtra in English, and a certification in soft skills, personality development, and she is a Cambridge teacher trainer. She has won a National Award for Academic Excellence in 2023, International Award for Best Researcher. She is associated with UHV in the form of FDPs and UHV morning session. Happy to have you, Dr. Vidya. The next panelist joining today is Vaishnavi Mishra. Good morning, Vaishnavi.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Dr. Vaishnavi is an alumni of Ajay Kumar Garg College of Engineering. She is graduate in civil engineering, currently preparing for government exams, and she took UHV as an elective subject. She is continuously exploring herself and continuously learning, getting closer to her natural acceptance. That is something she significantly specifies. Very good. The next panelist we have is Mr. Vandit Mishra.
Hello, ma'am. Good
Good
morning.
morning. Vandit Mishra is an alumnus of Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad, from the field of electronics and communication engineering. Presently, he is pursuing his MTech at IIT Dhanbad, and he won first prize at Anveshna National Finals for developing AI-based adaptive traffic control systems. And he has association of universal human values during his undergraduate.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
The next panelist joining us is Kaustubh Singh.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Kaustubh is an again alumnus of Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad, and he has completed his BTech in Electronics Engineering. Currently, he is an employee at trainee design as a trainee design engineer at S-System India. He was actively participating in UHV workshop and took UHV as an optional subject during his graduation. The next panelist that we have is Rachna Shinde. Good morning, Rachna.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Rachna is a BTech second year technology student at Sanjeevani College of Engineering, Kopargaon. She is deeply passionate about sustainable development goals. She has interest in exploring universal human values and humanity. Happy to have you, Rachna.
Thank you,
The
ma'am.
next panelist we have is Dr. Manisha Gupta. Sorry, she is yet to join, I guess.
No, Didi. Mohan T is there.
He has not joined. The next panelist we have is Dr. Ishrat Mira Mirzana. Dr. Ishrat Mira Mirzana is a professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Mufakham Jaha College of Engineering and Technology, Telangana. She serves as a director of R&D cell at MJCET and is also a director of Engineers Without Borders India. Dr. Ishrat Mira Mirzana has been associated with Universal Human Values since 2022, and currently she serves as a regional coordinator of South Central Region for UHV activities and projects. Welcome you, Ishrat ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for your kind gesture of introducing me.
We have yesterday a panel discussion on vision for empowering youth to address SDGs at the root through a value-driven holistic approach. The perspectives reflected by various panel members during the discussion, a summary of that I'm presenting of the youth panel only. The youth panel has reflected that sustainable living is a natural outcome if we have right understanding about emotional needs and relation needs. If there is a greed in the society, then it is difficult to live unsustainably. Our current lifestyle is the major reason behind the environmental degradation and waste generation. Wants are limitless, new wants keep arising and creating dissatisfaction. Technology is directly or indirectly exploiting the nature. It should help people understand the environmental and social issues. It should support in sustainable values. One more conclusion is that making conscious choices are important. Sustainable solutions arise from right understanding and not just external actions. Climate change is accelerating. Because of that, we have been seeing all the consequences such as wildfires, rise in sea level, heat waves, and floods. All soil degradation is a major concern today. So academic institutions, universities must include climate education in the curriculum. So these are the points we had reflected yesterday in the youth panel. To begin the discussion further, I invite our panelist, Dr. Ishrat Mira Mirzana, to ponder on universal, to present UHV point of view on the theme, a policy blueprint and implementation roadmap for empowering youth to address SDGs at the root. Over to
Thank you,
you.
Jasmine. Thank you, Dr. Jasmine, for that opportunity. Yeah. Let me start with on day one. It was on SWOT analysis of today's youth to address SDGs. And in that day one, we have discussed about what is the root of sustainability, how all the orders of nature except human being is not self-sustained. And for that one, what they have to have an understanding about the basic aspiration. And that is possible with the mutual happiness and mutual prosperity. And for mutual happiness, we need to have right understanding with relationship. And that is possible. For right understanding, education is required. And for the relationship and understanding of the need of physical facilities, the sanskar is the key. So the prosperity, when we say prosperity, we'll be able to understand or able to achieve the mutual prosperity with physical facilities with the right understanding. This was something what we have discussed or presented from the UHV point of view on day one. Coming to the day two theme was on vision for empowering youth to address SDGs at the root through a holistic value-driven approach. And for that vision, we have said that it is required to create a generation of life-ready, family-ready, society-ready, and nature-ready with value-driven youth who actively contribute to achieving the SDGs. And for that one, we need to have a shift from awareness of SDGs to ownership of SDGs, and also align the educational policy and practice with UHV for sustainable transformation. For this one, we have presented 8 strategic points for obtaining this vision that was proposed, where about the human being should be considered as a coexistence of consciousness and material, and there should be a clarity of basic aspirations, that is happiness and prosperity. And the happiness should be based on wisdom based, and the development focus should shift to a holistic vision, and the nature human relationship should be coexistential, and the social order should be with respect to cooperative living, and the technology should be participatory, and the knowledge system should work towards integrated wisdom. So these were the some of the points which were put across as UHV point of view in day 2. Coming to the day 3, it's a policy blueprint and implementation roadmap for empowering to address SDGs at the root. For this one, let's move ahead for the day 3 discussion. The strategic pillars for implementation, we are focusing on 4 strategic pillars, that is, which are proposed are education and capacity building policies, policy for socio-technological systems, policy for governance and institutional framework, and monitoring and evaluation framework. Let's discuss them in brief. Coming to the education and capacity building. So when we say education, the education is key for sustainability, because the right understanding is possible with education. And for that one, the universal human values have to be integrated at all levels of education, be it at school level, higher education, at every level it should be integrated. And for this one, we have to introduce the courses which define the coexistence, self-regulation in nature, and make the realization of what are the real human needs. And they have to understand what is need versus greed. And this is possible. The courses of the real human needs will help them in understanding what exactly is prosperity is about. And this is possible with the conduction of youth workshops, induction programs, and FDPs, so that one will be enabled to enable reflective learning on values and sustainability. And this is possible with the promote value-based experiential learning through community projects. And for the implementation, it's important like the final year projects when we are saying, instead of doing just some technological project, it should be correlated with SDGs. They should be having an experiential learning, because how the community is working, they have to move from the classroom and lab to the community and understand and learn from that. This is how we can have the capacity building. So this is the proposed first strategy, that is, we need to have education and capacity building practices. Similarly, we need to have policy for socio-technological systems. Today, we are with the technology development, we are just focusing on technology. But we have to focus on technologies which are tool-based and decentralized. Each one will be a participant in it. And low energy technologies suitable for communities. There are simple technologies, the SDGs projects, like you can talk about the bullock power in rural area, or the STEP with piezoelectric technology. So we have to work with the society about how we can implement this low energy technologies. And this youth-led innovations, we should have local innovation labs which are focused on need-based design, not with respect to profit making. If you are focusing on profit, it is just you want to focus on the greed, but not on the need. So the innovation should be based on the needs of the society. And for this one, there should be incentives that will be given for renewable, cyclic, and regenerative technologies. That's how we have different government agencies like Renewable Energy, Department of Renewable Energies, where we get the project funding also. And that's how we have to create incentives. And it's important that the youth engage in community projects addressing the root causes of SDG challenges. Poverty, when we say SDG 1, no poverty, it's not about no poverty. It's about the root causes, about how one understands about their consumerism. That's how right consumption, if we say SDG 12, right consumption, if it is understood, then we'll not have no poverty. So all this, instead of having a fragmented approach, we should have an integrated approach. And that integrated approach should be carried out for the community projects. Align startup policies with the principles of coexistence and mutual enrichment. Any startup policy should be focused on this. The hackathons should be focused with respect to the coexistence and mutual enrichments. And the next strategic pillar is about policy for governance and institutional framework. And for this one, we need to embed UHV-based decision-making modules into institutional governance structures. So the feeling of relationship, the intentions, all this should be there included in the institutional governance structures. And for this one, we can have the conversion of universities and colleges into living labs of human values, integrating values in teaching, governance, and outreach. So whatever is values, if we are saying the right consumption, that can be taught with respect to teaching. And the outreach activities should be implemented through NSS. And it should be mapped with the SDGs and also with the feeling of relationship. And for this one, we need to establish UHV nodal centers to guide SDG-linked research, innovation, and social engagement. We are happy to announce that all 71 UHV nodal centers have been declared in the month of December. And we can correlate them with this SDG-linked research. And that will help us with the social engagement. And for the governance, we should allow youth to propose SDG-aligned innovations while harmony with others for the community and campus. So when we are talking about the policy for governance, it's important that the youth work on their campus first. And next, coming to the proposed strategic pillar is monitoring and evaluation. It's important that we need to have a monitoring. It's when we want to talk about anything to start, it should also be end. The proper for that purpose, we need to have monitoring and evaluation framework. And for this one, we have to replace the GDP-like indicators with holistic measures. Today, we think about development in terms of GDP. But if we are talking about holistic development, the parameters should change. One such parameter which is followed by Bhutan is gross national happiness. The happiness is one more parameter. The prosperity, how the community engagement is being carried out. So such things have to be considered as the indicators. That is more important. And evaluate projects through harmony with nature, quality of human relationships, strengthening of community, reduction in resource stress. Today we evaluate projects about what is the technical content or how it is being achieved. But we are not seeing about for this execution of the project, how much minimal resources are being utilized and how this project will be helpful for the society. And in this process, we say that team development. Is the team development in harmony? That is also important. So all this should be the parameters for the evaluation of projects. And encourage youth to measure impact, not only through outputs, but through change in consciousness, behavior, and relationships. So the impact study which we carry out, like we talk about the mapping of project outcomes with the course outcomes. Instead of that, it should be with respect to the consciousness, behavior, and relationships. So this implementation pillar has to be carried out. The evaluation framework has to completely brought in with a change. And coming to the policy recommendations, form a National Youth Council for SDGs and values, integrating policy suggestions from the young change makers. Because India is a country of youth, more than 60% of the Indian nationals are youth. So they are the ones who can bring the change. And we have to include UHV-based courses and life skill programs in higher education policy. It should not be an add-on course or a credit course, but it should become a part of every course. That is how we have to integrate it. Encourage cross-border collaborations to share best practices in happiness, well-being, and sustainability. There are countries who are like Bhutan implementing the best practice for happiness. We need to collaborate with them. Or there are other things which can be for well-being. When we are talking about this cross-border collaborations, if we see Singapore, it will have very minimal hospitals. That indicates that it is having well-being. So the indicators is, if we are having more, when we are talking about indicators also, if we are having more hospitals, that indicates that it's not that we are having good infrastructure. That indicates that we are not focusing on the well-being, mental and health, physical well-being. So this is something which need to learn from the collaborations. Implement values-linked accreditation metrics for educational institutions. Today, we evaluate the various parameters of accreditation, be it NBA, NAC, and all that. We talk about student performance, faculty performance, and all those things, or infrastructure of the institution. The performance of the students is measured in terms of marks. It's not about how they have strengthened the community or worked for the community. The faculty are assessed with respect to number of projects that they have completed, number of FDPs that they have done, but not on how they have imbibed the values and content within the content with respect to knowledge. It's not information. If we say information, it's just about the transfer of information between one body to other. But if we are talking about knowledge, it is the content transfer from one self to the other self. So all this have to be implemented. The value-linked accreditation metrics should be implemented. And for this one, we should ensure funding and policy incentives for value-based innovation and social entrepreneurship. And this is possible with this institutional framework. At the college level, we should have a value education cell as the coordinating hub for SDG activities. And it can be monitored by the life coaching centers for the student mentoring and well-being. When it comes to the university level, we need to have UHV nodal centers to monitor the progress and evaluate the progress. And for this one, the UHV nodal centers, and at the university level, we need to have SDG fellowship programs for faculty and students. And this university, they can also encourage. There are across the globe, when we say cross-border collaborations, there are programs across the globe wherein we have this fellowship programs. But these fellowship programs should be value-added ones, not just with respect to the achieving of the SDGs in a fragmented manner. Always an integrated approach for SDGs will help in achieving the targets by 2030. Because when we are going with the fragmented framework, we observe that only 17% of SDGs are above mark. And at the policy level, AICT and UGC should promote UHV integrated SDG frameworks nationwide. So implementation and policy framework should ensure SDGs through empowered and value-driven youth. So the key message lies that the youth are not beneficiaries of SDGs. They are the torch bearers. And when the youth are empowered with universal human values, they become the foundation of a sustainable and harmonious future. So every youth should work towards SDGs. When they are trying to work for the SDGs, their focus should be, they should have the foundation value of UHV. The foundation value is the trust. Trust, and with this one, respect. And when they are able to have all these feelings of UHV, the values of UHV, then they'll be able to achieve the SDGs by 2030. And I request all the youth who have joined us now to be the torch bearers further and spread the UHV content. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for your patience hearing. Thank you. Over to you, Jasmeer.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ishrat, for presenting such a beautiful implementation roadmap with all the pillars of implementation introducing to us, and also presenting a institutional framework that how SDGs could be, how educational institutions could be a platform for the students to learn and practice SDGs. Once they are learning here, uh, the key takeaways will be adopted in the life, and wherever they will join in whatever industries, they'll certainly be SDG sensitive professionals. Thank you very much. One resource person, one panelist I miss introducing is Dr. Anupriya Rana. Good morning,
Hello, ma'am.
Dr.
Good morning.
Anupriya.
Good morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning. Yeah. Dr. Anupriya is an assistant professor in Life Science Department, College of Science, Swami Vivekanand, Subharti University, and she is a researcher in the field of bio-nanotechnology and sustainable agri-biotechnology. So, very happy to have you here, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
We'll move ahead with the discussion further. We'll be, as we do, we will be taking up the discussion in the form of questions addressed to distinguished panelists. In order to keep the discussion crisp and pointed, let us keep the responses concise, about 3 minutes, and a gentle reminder in the form of an alarm will ring after 3 minutes. The timer is also displayed on the screen. This is just to balance time among all the speakers. Let us keep our reflections focused on youth and the role in realizing SDGs at the root level. Let us keep the space open, reflective, and collaborative, more like a dialogue and sharing of insights. One more humble request is to all the panelists to keep your videos on throughout the discussion session for keeping the interaction lively. Together, we aim to uncover a collective understanding regarding implementation. That is, we are planning to turn the vision into action. The first question I would like to address to Dr. Rupali Shekhawatji.
Sorry. Jasmeet, can you just introduce Rakesh Mohanty also?
Okay. Good morning, Dr. Rakesh. Dr. Rakesh Mohanty is a distinguished academician, researcher, and visionary education leader with over 24 years of experience in higher education. Dr. Mohanty has served as an associate professor at Veer Surendra Sai University of Technology, Odisha. He is from the field of software, and he has found a life skill organization on values and empathy, which is dedicated to nurturing empathy, ethics, emotional intelligence, and moral leadership. Welcome, Dr. Rakesh. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning to you. Happy and healthy morning to all.
The first question that I would like to address to Dr. Rupali is, what is one small but beautiful but meaningful daily action that youth can adopt to live a more sustainable life without feeling burdened?
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the question. So there are two aspects in which I would like to answer here. First is one daily meaningful action. I think it can be a very small step, but regarding planning your day, I think it is important that a suitable amount of time is devoted to mental health, physical health, relationships, community, academic excellence, and future career, everything. So, but one area where I believe the youth might be lagging is proper planning. So we are just going about following schedules, reaching from one place to another, finding time for just everything that we have to accommodate in a single day. But if we just start by planning the day in a meaningful manner, where we devote a substantial amount of time, first of all, to our physical and mental health, that is going to be a very important step. And then moving about the rest of the day and excelling in every field. The second aspect here is, it is not just a daily but a consistent practice about fully utilizing before we move on to the next. To illustrate, it is like, even if it is about buying something, if it is about starting the next book, or we are just moving from one thing to another very fast. We keep buying things. We may not need it, but we are accumulating a lot of clothes and accessories and gadgets in our cupboards, in our wardrobes, everywhere. But we are not fully utilizing them. So what is very important is that you fully utilize what you have, and then you go on to move to the next, whatever you need next. And if you are done using it, if you have fully utilized it, you start the habit of giving it away to someone who may need it, instead of either stashing it in your cupboards or disposing it of irresponsibly. So it's important to inculcate the habit of sharing and reusing, so that it doesn't become, it is not seen as something, okay, hand me down. No, it becomes a very regular practice, how we just keep sharing. I have used something, I have given it to someone else who may use it, and then he may pass it on to someone else. It's a very sustainable and a very simple practice, and it doesn't require anyone to be like, okay, why should I give someone, and someone receiving, why should I take something from someone? It should be very normalized that we collectively use and share. So these are the two areas where I wanted to highlight. One is about planning the day with equal respective to space for everything. And second is about reusing, sharing for a sustainable living. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, very rightly said. Two keywords, planning the day and fully utilize. These two keywords are making the life sustainable like anything. Very rightly pointed out, Rupali. The next question I would like to address to Dr. Vidya. What institutional policies can make sustainable choices, energy, food, waste, mobility, the
Yes.
default option for student on campus?
Yes. Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes. So, thank you, Jasmine ma'am, for this question. So, I'd like to address this question in parts. So, first, I will be talking about various roles and responsibilities that we look forward when it comes to the youth, when we are addressing to the youngsters with whom we are dealing as the educators. And second point is I'll refer some policies also, how policy changes or policy redesigning also helps us out to implement the things out. The story is like there are multiple ideal systems we have already set, but most of those are just on papers or they are just on the posters. But we should have a vision to implement it out, and we have to empower a youth to have the practices of bringing it into realities. For example, when we are talking about the energy, we should always have the default sustainable system of energy which is cheapest, easily available. Let us say in the form of renewable energy. That should be the default power source for us. So there is a high time where we have to start pondering now that how many institutions so far are we having which are actually running with the renewable energy resources. Let us consider solar system. So solar energy is cheaply and easily available all over India because India is blessed with the clear sunlight. But are we maintaining our institutions really on that? So it is really like leading by the example. So we have to first of all start implementing it out, and only then we can expect our youth to follow the same model. The second is on campus we have to implement certain policies where zero waste should be implemented, and we should encourage our children also to go ahead with it. And what happens usually is if we just talk to students to do this, do that, they are not much encouraged, but we have to make it sure that we bring into practice in the form of credits or in the form of curriculum, and we can reward them for whatever they are implementing it out. I'd like to give example of the SDG that we implemented when we practice in our university. So while teaching just English course also, we encourage our students to go ahead with certain projects for engineering designing, which are sustainable. For example, let's say I basically focus more on the 3 Rs: reduce, recycle, and reuse. So being in the metropolitan city like Pune, I can see the rivers, especially in the winters and summer season when they are dried, they are full with the cloth bundles. So what is it happening? Because we are not looking for towards just what we want exact or how much we require. Rather, we are keep on buying things overloaded. So we have to train our children to go ahead with it, and then we have to start crediting it as a some credit or give some reward. There is a very beautiful example. I think Ishrat ma'am also talked about is JNH that Bhutan go ahead with. Rather than GDP, they are more focusing on the happiness index of the people in their country. Second is Costa Rica. Instead of, as we have pension policies, Costa Rica also giving PES, payment for environmental services. So if we maintain environmental around our houses, the government comes and does the audit, and then they give you certain credits. You can encash those credits while filling the petrol at the petrol pump, and you can buy from those credits you can reduce, the money is also reduced. So in this way, how we have to think ahead of how we can implement this out into the practices, because let us not teach our children to fight against the system, train them to be the part of the system, and let them redesign the system to support the ethical choices. This is what I believe. Thank you so much. Yes, over to you, ma'am. Jasmine, ma'am. I think my time's up. Otherwise, I have a lot to talk about this. Because when it comes to Jasmine, ma'am, once you are there, you can just start. Till then, I take the liberty to add on some more practices. Those are going across the globe. As we are into the educational hub, there are many universities, let's say, which are also already practicing it out. For example, in Australia, they do have... Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Vidya.
Yes.
Yeah, that was nicely
Yes. Please go ahead.
Just we got some net problem over there, so I'll take over this. That was nicely quoted. Referring Costa Rica information, and how they are contributing payment for environmental contribution and all. That was excellent. Now, I think the next question will be to the next panelist, Lakshay Mittal. Lakshay Mittal, are you there? In case things are going wrong.
Lakshay Mittal is not there.
Okay. D3, yeah, okay.
Vaishnavi Mishra or Vandit.
Yeah, Vaishnavi Mishra. How can colleges move from one-time SDG events to long-term student-led sustainability programs?
Sir, if we talk about the long-term impact of the SDG programs, it is very minimal. Generally, because if any event is organized in the name of SDG promotion, it is very short-lived. The motivation and enthusiasm among the students is very short-lived. But if we want to convert it to long-run practices, then I think, sir, particularly the SDG goals, there should be regular sessions based on SDG goals. And as an engineering student myself, I realized that while we were told that we have to prepare projects based on SDG models, we were never told the basic essence behind considering or defining those those 17 SDG goals. So I think regular sessions along with examples, uh, day-to-day examples, and particularly from our area, it will help us to stay motivated. For example, there is a village in Maharashtra. I don't know the right pronunciation, but I think it's Hiware Bazar. And a decade back, it had a crisis. So there were hunger issues, and it is basically a flood-ridden region. So what happened was there was a single PhD student. So the village elders asked him to stay back instead of going back to foreign lands. He asked them to stay back and do something. And now, with regular implementation of policies, generation of awareness, he has turned that village into the millennial village of India. It is done by a single person. So I think, sir, that we can convert the process of SDG mentality within the college students by giving them examples and by doing it regularly. And apart from that, I also want to add that if any particular student took a initiative and it did not reap the result which it had supposed to, then I think that he or she should be recognized for the efforts rather than the outcome. So this was all from my side.
Yeah, that was nice, Vaishnavi Mishra. Yes, of course. Student need to be oriented. Maybe with the references and case studies, examples like this. Certainly, we can put them in the direction. Yes. Thank you so much for your reflection on this. Now, the next question will be Dr. Kavita Ashok. Is Kavita Ashok is there?
Vandit Mishra or Kaustubh?
Yeah, Kaustubh.
Yeah.
Is Kaustubh is there? Yeah. Yeah, the question
Yeah,
to
sir.
Kaustubh. Yeah. What kind of mentoring or guidance system helps youth stay consistent and motivated in SDG related work? The question is clear, sir?
Good morning, sir. Thank you
Yeah.
for asking me this question.
Yeah.
We know, according to me, I think youth stay consistent when motivation is intrinsic, not like reward driven. For this, effective monitoring system should be included, like small monitoring group, self-reflecting based meetings, faculty with senior student mentors, and another thing like focus on learning, not only outcome alone. And from UHB lens, motivation sustains when youth understand why they are doing something and how it is and how it connects to their own happiness and purpose. And for this, mentors should give guide to student to reflect on intentions. What are the correct intentions? Challenges. What will be the challenges? How to overcome come that? Learnings and inner clarity. Such mentoring replaces pressure when meaning, which is essential for long-term engagement. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, nice, Kaustubh. Yeah, nice reflection. Correct. Yeah, some of the time the students may be having the intentions towards this, but the facilitating them, orienting them, mentoring them certainly helps them to contribute for this. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Kaustubh. Who raised the thing? Let me see. Somebody raised. Rakesh,
Yeah,
please.
I have joined back, so I'll take ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, please. Please, madam. Yeah.
iPad. The Rupali Shekhawat ma'am wants to add something. Yes, Rupali ma'am.
Yes, yes, ma'am. I wanted to add a small point to the previous question, in fact, regarding the long-term support for SDG. So I was just a small thing that probably a minor can be introduced in colleges, in universities, which can give the students complete freedom to associate, to collaborate with even interdisciplinary, areas, and which is completely student-driven and has to be assessed not primarily through paper or through in the pen and paper or even the project or in the digital mode, but through actual on ground contribution. So it has to be assessed in a measurable manner and credit driven, definitely. And this can be completely, it can be guided by students and like senior students and even faculties. A 1:10 ratio of faculty student, something like that can be charted out, but a minor can be introduced for it to be, and it can actually be stretched across the year, across the stay. Like once the student enters the university, till the passing out. It can be one project. He is entirely free to choose it. And if he completes one project, if he wants to move on to another one, his choice. But if it even he stretches it across the entire stay in the university, it is entirely his choice. But it can be like a minor introduced. So it can actually make it long term, and it will stay with the student all his life. Thank you, ma'am.
Very good idea. Thank you, Rupali ma'am. We have a good reflection from Vidya, Dr. Vidya.
Yes,
Over
ma'am.
to you, Dr.
A
Vidya.
quick share to add on what Dr. Rupali has said. So what we can do is, what we implement is, we can even along with the minor, we can have degree long projects also. So degree long projects basically goes ahead with students, for example, for sustainable cities and sustainable fashion, let's say, we have started implementing SDG projects aligning with our assessment. So students who are in first year are able to only do the front end. So they have started creating some apps or some kind of designs which are going to help out to make the city sustainable, like green landscapes and so on, or sustainable fashion like mobile applications or mobile driving vans where they can get ready wardrobes to try and rent and give it back. So we are cutting down on the rebuying of the things or unnecessary stuff. So a student in the first year is going to do only front end. In the second year, they are going to learn proper coding and they will be able to do the back end. And then in third year, and so they will be able to continue with the project. So along with their learning, whatever they are having as a main knowledge hub, they are going to add on into this SDG implementation. And this project, for example, water conservations and everything, they are going to continue with it throughout their degree, and that will be called as their major portfolio, which they can represent in the time of interviews also. And it will also help them out to have that practice forever in their life, because we are also adding on into the credits, and they will have the sense of responsibilities which or sense of belonging towards the society, which they are going to carry throughout the degree. So that can also be one option. Thank you.
Yeah, very nice idea, Dr. Vidya. We'll move ahead with the next question. I'd like to address this question to Dr. Rakesh Mohanty. How can youth-led clubs, societies, or hostels become living examples of sustainable and value-driven living?
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, all panelists. I just take the whiteboard to put forth a few points which are very crisp and powerful and insightful. The first point is communication. I have stayed in various hostels like state universities, IIT, JNU, and other top institutions in India, though I have not visited abroad. The communication skill is the biggest problem among our hostel students, because even in top institutes or other universities, you will see that people don't know who is staying in the neighborhood. But of course, JNU is an exception where people interact a lot and they make a good networking. So the first point is we don't have powerful communication and relationship skills developed, and that is never the platform is created. For example, when I was a hostel warden, I conducted a ZDM and fixed the mess dues per month. And a new idea came off, and we tried to award the students with the waiver of the fees will make the mess dues half, and it was done. This award, like awarding 1 month mess dues free for the secretary, made the mess dues bill half. So students are very happy. Similarly, we conducted night cricket tournaments, night volleyball tournaments, and other kind of things in way back in 2000, when there was no IPL and nothing like that. So we should come up with ideas which will give and use the students' right brain activities. Mostly we have seen that from school to college to university education, when we move forward, students only focus on left brain skills, and they are biased by others. They lack their originality and creativity. So that's what we are going to focus on, and students should use their full capability. You see, students will perform very well in 10th score, 92%, and when it comes to plus 2 and college education, their reading skill is minimal, their listening skill is minimal, their writing skill is minimal, but they will speak a lot. So what I feel is we should inculcate the action-oriented mindset on students. And when we talk about sustainable development goals in hostels and communities, sustainable goals and developments means daily regular practice of habits. You go to university, students will get up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Nobody will get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. But we have a Robin Sharma book, 5 a.m. Club, where old people and good students abroad, they get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So we also don't follow the circadian cycle of the natural powers. That's why talking a lot of things, bringing a lot of complexity, implementing a lot of systems is not going to work. First thing is we have to practice it and show it as a role model to the students. If I am a warden, if I'm a teacher, if I'm getting up at 4 o'clock and making the students wake up at 4 o'clock for a run or walk or for a tea, the students will follow me, otherwise not. So the best part is we have put a lot of systems, but it is never implemented. For example, NEP. NEP is for the sake of NEP. Nobody knows what is NEP and how to start and do it. And we are not trained properly on NEP. But this USB program is a very right initiative to trigger the brains. But whatever you are talking here should be implemented. Because if I talk more and implement less, it is not going to impact the students and the society. Thank you. So our focus will be on action.
Yeah, very rightly said, Dr. Mohanty. Giving freedom and giving freedom to take action, act to act, and pressing role models very nicely across. We also address the same question to Mr. Laksha Mittal, that how can youth-led clubs, societies, or hostels become living examples of sustainable and value-based living? Are we able to reach you, Mr. Laksha?
He's not there. Can I put across my point briefly? Yeah. When we are saying the youth-led clubs, societies, or hostels, one best thing is the youth themselves should know they have to have the self-exploration and self-sustaining and responsibility within themselves about how they can protect the nature. And when there is an excess food or something like that, they can establish a food bank. And that food bank can be used to, instead of you wasting the food in the hostel, the food bank can provide the food to the nearby underprivileged communities. These are the acts which the youth can carry out as a part of their SDG projects. So there are many things which the youth, when they are living together, they can be a live examples for the whole community. So that's how they can work ahead. Yeah, thank you. Please go ahead with the other panelists.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Ishrat, for putting a live example. The next question I would like to put to Dr. Rachna Shinde, that what role should academic credits, internships, and recognition play without reducing SDG work to just certificates?
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, for this question. And I myself is a second year engineering student, and I had this UHV subject in my current semester also. And I have seen that many of the students have just performed the activities related to UHV to get the credits and to get the marks from teacher. But they had not understood the real essence of what these activities means. They just went and took a picture so that they can get the credits. So nowadays, as one of the panelists also said, that some degree long subjects or some minor subjects should be added in the curriculum, some credits should be rewarded to the students. But nowadays I don't understand, but students don't have that mentality. They just complete the things for the sake of the credits and to get the certificates, and they don't get the real essence of what they are doing. So if we are inculcating these things in the curriculum, so some additional practices or some opportunities should be given to the students to explore the things by their own. And they should be they should be made understand what these things really mean to our society and to our environment. And I think that it should not just be certificate driven, because in our technical things also, if we are doing a technical certificate, if we are doing any course, then students really don't get into the depth of that subject. They just complete it for the sake of the certificate. So it shouldn't be the thing, it shouldn't be the way of looking towards the things.
Very
Thank you, ma'am.
nice, Rachna. Very nice willingness coming from the student that one should do it not for the certificate. That's a great thing you are telling us. The next question I would like to address to Dr. Anupriya Rana. Before we move to the next question, Dr. Vidya has something to ponder on the previous question. Over to you, Dr. Vidya.
Yes. So I feel Rachna is a voice of today's youth. Thank you, Rachna, for pointing out and bringing to the point crux of what today's youth actually thinks. And this is a sad reality that somehow it's a failure of the system that we may not be able to evoke that spirit among the students. I do recalled my own college days. I was a part of NSS, and it was not just a certificate or anything, or not even a form of credit that driven me out, but the practices that we had during the NSS, like social work or doing it for the society and giving back to the society, has been imbibed so strong in me that today also I have actively been a part of various social activities, NGOs, many drives, and at the same time, I have become a very conscious consumer also. Whenever I buy anything or whenever I spend on anything, I very consciously think about the environment first. And that has been somehow sold as a virtue in me as a part of the NSS activity somehow. So this is a very important point. What Rachna has said. As the educators, we have to take into note, and we have to check it out. Not only for the assignment or assessment or even the credit, but it should be driven at a constant spirit among the children. Yeah. Thank you.
Very nice, Vidya, putting that as an example of NSS, the framework which an institution should have for practicing SDGs initiatives. Am I able to reach Dr. Anupriya?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible to me.
I'd like to ponder on the question that how can institutions support youth in aligning their lifestyle choices like consumption and habits with sustainable values?
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, when we talk about the lifestyle, it's not a one-day thing that we can guide them and they will follow it to their lifetime or into their routine. Constant mentoring is very much important. That some of the students previously tell that only a one-time workshop or the training we gave to students on the SDG is not going to support them to make or to change their lifestyle. So basically, first the mentor it's need to make changes in their academia to take the student to note it down that their teachers are following certain things. Then obviously they have this need of doing these things that their mentors are already doing. And if we are constantly guiding them according to certain changes, like if we can make our campus is to plastic free, most of the universities are going to adopt this system, and I think it is a very good approach to align with the SDG goals, that campus need to be plastic free. And also like in the hostels, when we give mean certain universities which are giving the hostels, we are preferring students to take the AC hostels. So in place of the AC hostels, we can give them the green buildings. So basically, that will be more valuable to our society and the ecosystem. And also, they will be learning that AC is not the luxury. Even if we are seeing the green building in the sustainable amount of time for a longer time period for our upcoming generations, the green building are the choices. And if we, in the academic and financial interventions, if we see in their fee structure, like we give the meritorious scholarships to the students. So basically, in place of these meritorious scholarship, if we are giving them for the low carbon behaviors, like SG for following the SDG goals, if we are going them like they followed one SDG goal or two SDG goal, and on the basis of that, if we are giving them the scholarship in their fees also, that will also promote to sustain these things in the longer time, and they will, I think, they will definitely follow it to the longer period. And continuous mentorship is required, like making the clubs, we have dance club and other clubs, but instead of that we need to maintain it, you can say, as a continuation process of making the SDG clubs, which will help them to promote these things to the longer time period, ma'am. That's all.
Very nice examples shared, Dr. Anupriya. You are really doing great at your institution, creating opportunities for students to have choices which are according to SDGs. It's a very good example for other institutions to follow. I would also like Ms. Vaishnavi Mishra to answer on this particular question, that what simple policies, okay, I want you to answer the same question, that how can institutions support youth in aligning their lifestyle choices, specifically consumption and habits, with sustainable values?
Ma'am, if I answer this question according to what I had experienced in my college only a few months back, I graduated in June this year only. So, ma'am, simple steps can lead to bigger changes. Ma'am, sometimes during our youth ages, we don't see the contribution from the other aspects of nature. Uh, leave behind the other human being. So, ma'am, as UHV concepts are in proposal form, what we can do is telling our students that the plate of food, for example, I'm giving that the plate of food which is coming in front of you, it is not just a single plate of food. It's effort of many people behind it, including the nature as well. The food is prepared generally by our mother at home. Our father brings the raw material from the retailer. The retailer gets it from the farmer. Farmer and the whole family contributes for the crop protection and all. Nature contributes for its growth. So it's not just a single plate of food. Apart from that, the fuel that gets to it, the utensil in which we eat that. Same goes for electricity. Electricity which we get in our colleges or homes. The water supply which we get. Not everyone is competent enough to get these things. We are getting these things, and many a times on the expense of nature as well. So students should be told about this in form of proposals. And ma'am, I think that according to that, if we put forward these concepts in front of the students in proposal format, they will be better at making their life choices and inculcating those activities in their everyday life also. So, ma'am, this is what I want to say. Basically, generating awareness among the youth. Youth know all these things, but we tend to forget because we end up going around in our own world. So we need to get reminded again and again. So, ma'am, I think this can be done.
Yeah, very nicely said, Vaishnavi. And in your own world, there are many attacks on you on social media and on many fronts. The profit maximization is using you as a market and taking you away from whatever you have decided. So, Miss Rachna Shinde has add to something. Over to you, Rachna.
Yes, I just wanted to add something to what Miss Vaishnavi said, that about food, she said about food wastage. So I just wanted to add one thing, that even if we are sitting together, so when me and my friends are taking lunch or dinner together in our hostels, one of my friend always tells us that every 5 seconds a child dies of hunger. So whenever she addresses this point, we are motivated, or somewhere we feel that no, we shouldn't waste this food, we should completely eat whatever we have in our plates. So my point to say here is that change happens when we started. So if we want to change the youth of today's generation, if we want to spread this message, we should start it first from ourselves. In our group first, we should take some steps, some small steps to um, inculcate those habits of SDGs in our daily life. And also in the hostel in which I was in my 11th grade, so the hostel was really strict about cleanliness and about conserving electricity and everything. So whenever it was found that we have kept the lights and fans of our rooms on when we went to college in the daytime, we were fined, or the chief warden used to scold us. So some initiatives like this should also be taken in the hostels, that if it is found that students are using the electricity unnecessarily, or if they are wasting it, so they should be fined, because I guess this is the only way students will really understand what these resources mean to us, because today's generation is the one that is going to save these resources for the future generations. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachna. Thank you for those small steps you have added to the day-to-day life. You have a friend, but let you be the friend in the other group, reminding the importance of food. Okay, over to you, Dr. Vidya.
Yes, so Miss Vaishnavi and Miss Rachna are again the vocal the conditions of students today. Here I'd like to give example of famous photojournalist, the case of famous photojournalist Kevin Carter. So he actually photo shooted an African girl, a very young African girl who was dying out of hunger, and a vulture was waiting beside her, and that was a very cruel picture ever had been taken. So I was staying in a hostel of Pune University, and in our hostel that picture was put on the walls in our maze. And just by looking at the picture, none of us ever dared to waste food. And because I later on explored the story of what is this picture is about actually, and what's the story behind that. And it gives you really chills in your spine. It's very gruesome reality of human life, that there are some people who are still today, in today's time also, they are dying out of hunger. And we, if we don't like the taste of something, we just simply throw the food out. It's not that easy, you know. At the same time, when as teachers we are leaving the class out, even we are getting out of our offices, though it's your electricity bill or somebody else's, you have to start switching off the lights, and then you have to keep telling it to students every time when you are also getting, let's turn the fans off, let's turn the lights off. We have to keep telling it out, and somehow it becomes a drilling and it becomes a habit. And another day it becomes a sense of responsibility. You know, beautiful example is of Britishers who are following the street rules. So most of the streets are very vacant, and even at the outskirts, if they are traveling, they never jump the signals, and they abide by the signals. Now there is a very beautiful psychological study has been done. What happens once you think that I can jump a signal, there is no one coming across, then it becomes a practice of jumping everything it out, and every time you will push yourself up to break the rules. And this is a very simple funda that the psychological study has told, that we have to start abiding by these practices, because these are very well studied norms that any government or any policies come across with. So in this way we have to start sowing small practices. Again, I'm telling, leading by example. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Vidya, for bringing these live examples of your perspective to all of us. Over to Dr. Mohanty also.
Yeah, so I want to share one best practices which I encountered in a particular event in IIT Kharagpur in a conference, and that is a great learning for me. Most of the time we focus on temporary, instantaneous excitation, but we are not emotionally heartily connected to certain things. When we are emotionally connected to certain things, it will be there for ever in our life. So the incident is like this. There was a conference going on, 100 participants from India, and there was a tea session going on, and there was a tea dustbin which was used there, but the number of cups were more than the dustbin size. So when people started throwing everything in the dustbin, the participants, it filled up. And a time came where there was no place in the dustbin, and the corridor was beautiful in IIT Kharagpur Computer Science Department. And everybody from the participant, they were throwing that wastage paper glasses in the floor, and nobody was bothered about it. Suddenly, a senior old professor who was adjunct professor, I don't remember the name, he came and tried to take all those things in a particular container. He brought a container and take it and went. Then immediately all the participants started helping him, and they tried to take those things and went to the nearest dustbin and put it there. So this is the culture, the best practices we can imbibe through our actions, not through only words. Mostly what is happening in the classrooms, we are talking a lot. We are not doing role playing. We are not activating the students to play the roles. The classes are dormant. But I've seen in IIMs and IITs, there are many interactive sessions where practically we do things. So that should be circulated throughout the country. What are the best practices done by good institutions? Also, people who study in better institutions, they learn a lot of things, and they should come and practice that in their own local institutions, which they should serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mohanty. Very nice experience sharing here and insight also. The next question I would like to put to Dr. Rupali Shekhawat. What simple policy changes can help students balance their academics, well-being, and social responsibility together?
Ma'am, a lot has already been discussed, and I would just like to add on to certain things. Like, I think minimizing digital exposure is very important. There should be no screen time zones. There should be no screen spaces in universities where it is just, people are coming, chatting, and phones are not even allowed. I tell my students all the time in my classes that they have this habit. There is no notification, but they would just fidget through the phone, just checking if there's something. So I keep telling them again and again that can you not live without your phone even for the next 50 minutes? I mean, why is it so important? If you can keep it on ringer, if it rings, you can pick it up if it's from someone important. But why do you feel the need to keep checking the phone again and again? So they really need to understand that if they are reading something, they need to be fully devoted towards it. I mean, I've had experiences. It's a very small thing. Like, we had a very interesting discussion about my area of PhD, and the students were captivated. And the next day I went back and I asked them, so you remember the discussion we had yesterday? And one of the students said, ma'am, you gave a very interesting lecture. You connected a lot of dots, but I don't remember the details. So it was shocking to me that he remembered that it was a very interesting discussion. Ma'am, you connected a lot of dots. It was a very nice discussion, but I cannot recall what it was about. So it was very shocking to me in that moment that students, that they are not really focusing. Even in that moment when they are listening to me, somehow they are not retaining it. And I think it has something to do with a lot of, a lot of exposure to a lot of fastness that is happening in their life. I don't know, these quick reels, they're so used to everything happening so fast. They cannot retain and, absorb and assimilate. So I think it is very important for them to, minimize their screen space, and that's when and slow down in life. Think, pause, think before you say, think before you do. And it's okay to not do anything. Just relax, spend time with yourself, with your thoughts. Do not. I know people. There's television switched on, and still they're scrolling through their phones while watching television. So I think these are really some very, very dangerous things that I see happening around me. And it scares me, how we are moving towards it. So I think minimizing the digital presence in our life is very important.
Yeah, that is really a very relevant. All teachers are facing this difficulty nowadays. And this is really a very small policy change, but that will certainly result into huge benefits. Next, one hand is raised by Mr. Vandit Mishra, but I'd like Vandit to ponder on the next question that this most probably is the last question for the discussion today. How can colleges and universities support youth in linking career aspiration with sustainability and social good?
Namaste to all present here. Ma'am, the question is linking career aspirations with sustainability and social good. Ma'am, throughout our education, presently I'm doing masters and recently I have graduated. So in our student life, we are we have to be constantly activated to these activities regarding UHV content, or it may be SDG activities. Our project, I belong to Ajay Kumar Gar College, and in our college, we were constantly uh, activated or talked about SDG goals. And our final year project was focused more about what SDG goals you are solving. So linking career aspirations technically with these activities in some other activity, other things in which we are adding UHV content or SDG goals in academics, in day-to-day uh, proposal talkings, we can lead to a career aspirations. And universities must refine career success to include social and ecological responsibility. This can be achieved by integrating ethics and sustainability into career counseling. That is more important. Highlighting professions that combine excellence and social impact. And the third important point is, and the last is, partnering and organizations working on long-term global challenges. These are the 3 points that I want to keep in front of all the panelists. And when youth see sustainability as aligned with professional growth, engagement becomes aspirations rather than obligatory. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vandit, for putting one more additional creative aspect to the training and placement department of the institutions, that how it can add SDGs and a career option for the students there also. Today we had a very nice discussion. All the panelists have really shared very important and valuable insights, and I'm really very much thankful to all of you for giving your valuable time and putting your perspectives here. So, Dr. Vidya, I would request you to add whatever you want to say in very small
Yes.
time. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry to take the liberty to have some point again. So I'd like to add on 2-3 practices going across globe. If you want to take admission in any American university and you are transporting from other countries, what they look forward is, one is your certification in psychology, because mental health has been given very much importance to, and second is community service. Now, if you are getting admission in some very renowned university because you are into community service, is also driving factor for the students. So why not we are also following the practices in very renowned universities like IITs and IIM and so on. So that's also one factor we can bring in the policy change. Second thing is, even under the CSR activities, every community, every industry, every company is abided to do the CSR, right? Then in the interviews also, why not adding on some points? The one who is really good in community service, along with whatever they are holding in their core degree, can also be the USP for that student, or for that one who is appearing in the interview also. So if we are bringing the change around national policies through it, that you have to make sure that the persons who are giving interviews not only holding the degrees which are very stronger, or they are really good in their own core subjects, but also they should also have the UHVs in them, which can be cross-checked or counted through their community engagement, through their other additional efforts, what they are contributing to the society, and checking their awareness. Certain questions should also be the part of the interview, where their social awareness should also be cross-checked, and that criteria has to be made mandatory. This is what I think. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Vidya. Now, I hand over the session to Dr. Sesha for further proceeding.
Thank you, Dr. Jasmine. A smooth moderation of this session. Values come alive only when we practice them. in our daily lives. Well-being is seen in balanced living, caring family and workplaces, and people-focused policies. Nowadays, people focus more on systems, profit, and numbers, but there is a little awareness of the real needs of people at the center. It is under reduced inequalities. When values guide our actions, especially when actions are self-organized, sustainable, and inclusive, progress naturally follows. Thank you all the panel members, Dr. Rupali Shekhawat, Dr. Vidya Negre, Vaishnavi Mishra, Vandit Mishra, Kaustubh Singh, Rachna Sindhe, Dr. Anupriya Rana, Dr. Rakesh Mohanty for making today's session truly engaging and meaningful. Heartfelt thanks to Dr. Ishrat for presenting a policy blueprint and implementation roadmap for empowering youth to address SDGs at the root. Your insights and vision on empowering youth through value-driven higher education have deeply inspired us all. I also extend my sincere gratitude to moderator Dr. Jasmine, all the participants, the tech team, Dheeraj Kumar and Ms. Banisha Prinja, scribe Srimati Raghavamma, Dr. Umarani, timekeeper Ms. Banisha Prinja, Dr. Raidu Payala, and the entire organizing committee for smooth, successful coordination. As we conclude today's discussion, one message resonates strongly. Sustainable development becomes truly achievable when youth are guided by universal human values and inner clarity. Our dialogue highlighted that real transformation begins within when youth understand themselves as coexistence of consciousness and body, when they differentiate between need and greed, and when they choose harmony, responsibility, and cooperation over competition. With this clarity, their actions naturally align with long-term happiness, prosperity, and sustainability. Today's reflections have shown us to youth are not just beneficiaries of the SDGs, but the torchbearers who can address them at the root level. I'm happy to inform you all. Please join parallel sessions are going on seminar talk and implementing value-driven counseling for youth, sharing by institutions and individuals at 12:45 p.m. It's my privilege to invite all the panel members for the recommendations in the concluding sessions at the 2:30 p.m. Thank you once again. Thank you. Namaskar, everyone.
Namaste, everyone. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you
Thank you
for
so
joining.
much.